Hey, Courtney, can you hear me? Sound test. Patrick, Phantom. The new Tim, what's up? Great discussion night. Wait do you see, man? What do you see how prolific our guest tonight has been? It's insane. Well, that's good. I guess you heard me then. That's good. Awesome. Unfortunately, this is the last stream until next Sunday because of work. Vegas. Get this started. There we go.
Yeah, the audio is live, so it's streaming, but they can't see us yet. So
No,
okay.
Just going through all
so you know,
the advertisers.
Yeah, I have a wonderful dog, but he's very enthusiastic about things. So,
I have one too that might pop in and out, but he's not the barky count yet. He hasn't found his voice yet. So, but
he doesn't bark, but he leaps on me sometimes in little meetings, and
thank you.
Very that
that's
can be
understandable.
very distracting. So yeah, he's a good boy. He's from Mexico. His name is Diego, and he's named after Diego Rivera, the painter.
Wow.
My late mom actually knew Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo.
Codex
so.
Infernal.
Oh, cool. My dog is Chico, like little because they thought he was a Chihuahua, but he's not. He's a mini pincher.
From the farthest
wow.
reaches of the heavens.
Yep. So he's not a Chihuahua at all, but they thought so originally. That's why they named him Chico, like little boy. So his name is Chico, but he's actually he should have like a German sounding name because he's a mini pincher, actually, not a Chihuahua. Yep.
and much more.
So is this going to be audio, or are we going to be on video?
No. They're going to see your lovely locks.
Yeah. Well, excuse me for a second, then.
Oh, okay.
And chaos on your table. The Codices Infernum and Exaltum.
That was funny.
Bringing creatures hallowed and profane into your adventures.
Yep.
Pledge and share today.
Was that a new video?
No.
Okay, no.
Anna, no.
Okay. Yep.
That was funny.
20, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was funny.
Yep, not a new video yet.
No, I just haven't had time. I'm so realized now I got, like, after the GaryCon frenzy.
It's 3 weeks to GaryCon, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, I just realized how many character sheets I need to. Hey, Taryn, I need to get out there. Updated. I'm going to show a picture too. Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. All right, never mind. We're good.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
All is good. Well, let's Clara.
It'll be, this will be, trust me, we got a really, really great community in the,
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very friendly. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And very enthusiastic. And very knowledgeable, too, about everything. Greyhawk and D&D and stuff, so, yeah.
Where are you guys located again?
I'm in Southern California. And
Okay.
Jay is in
South
New
Jersey.
Yeah.
South, 6 miles away from Philly.
Okay.
Yes.
Portland, Oregon.
I'm one of those barbarians.
Yeah, I moved to Southern California a bit over 10 years ago from Sweden.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Monterey originally.
Oh, wow.
I was born in Carmel.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been in Oregon forever, so.
I kind of like it. Southern California is nice when you grew up and you sit near Arctic.
Many of my, in many ways, I miss California too. I visit there.
Well, Oregon is kind of great too. Yeah.
I'm very fond of the place. So.
Anthony Michael Zudrak's on, and when I said barbarians, he's like, barbarians, us? Because, he lives literally 10 miles from me, so if that.
Yep.
We are barbarians. Come on, Mike. Everyone complains about us as hockey fans, as football fans. Welcome. Entry screen here, especially guest Anthony. You're great to see this stuff. I mean, stuff that I did not know that I am like taken back by, because it's just like, wow. It's going to be an awesome discussion.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to it.
We are horrible football fans. We're horrible people. The new Tim in the chat.
I can definitely say I don't know anything about sports. So I'm a terrible sports fan.
People will be rolling in. We are early. We are really early, but we got anything on. So let's kick off this. Let's kick it off.
All right.
Sure. Here we come, coming live here on Twitch for everyone to see us. So good evening, everyone. Yeah, if you want to maximize my screen in Zoom, what this screen, my screen is what everyone, Anthony, will see live.
Yeah, and it's no delay and stuff.
Yeah. So Jay, aka Lord Gazumba, here with the legendary Anna Meyer.
Hello.
And our very special.
Only half as, or 1/10 or 1% as legendary as our guest.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You're embarrassing me.
Anthony Pryor. And you may go, who's Anthony Pryor? Well, we're going to tell you. And you're going to go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize he had a part in that. I mean, that's how it's going to go tonight. And welcome, Anthony. Good to have you here.
Good to be here. Great.
You
yes.
You are all over the place, which is amazing, which is great. We'll just ask some questions. We'll just talk some general things, talk about some of the products, history, and then I guarantee we'll get a ton of questions from the audience. Giveaways already set up, everyone. We're doing some classic D&D reprints tonight. I don't think I have a Rary the Trader here, but I got some other good stuff. I got, Shokanth, the White Plume, Ghost Tower, Tomb of the Lizard King, Reptile God, Baba Yaga's Hut, got Scarlet Brotherhood. I got a lot of good stuff here. So Exclamation point drawing. Good to see everyone in chat tonight, as people will be rolling in because it's really early. So Anthony,
yes,
you had to. Where did it all begin? I mean, you and I are probably very similar in age, right? We're close.
Yeah.
You know. Thank you, Chad, for the resub. Yeah, and Anna. Well, Anna, yeah.
I'm older than you, so.
Yeah. So I started in '78 with Holmes with a Holmes box set, right? Like, how did it start with you getting into the RPG?
It was about like that. It's kind of an involved story. I think when we were chatting before, I said it would be great to see like a publication or a website or something where everybody describes how they first got involved in gaming and role playing and stuff. I had enjoyed tabletop hex and counter war games and miniature war games when I was much younger. And when I was at college, I tried to start a wargaming group, but that didn't work out. But I had a guy get in touch with me and said, yeah, he'd love to hang out. And he says, yeah, well, we can play some D&D. And I said, some what? And this would be about 1976.
Oh, this is OD&D level.
Wow.
Basic.
I think I beat you to the punch by like 2 years, but yeah, we did white.
Yeah, you beat me by 3. So yeah.
Wow. Well, I borrowed his white box set and photocopied it at a nickel a page at the photocopy station at Portland State University. Mm-hmm. I did not buy the white box. I should have, because I would be a rich man had I done so. I found by the way, a friend of mine, one of our friends passed away, and he was allowed to go through her library and take anything that he wanted. And he found an original white box.
Wow.
Untouched, pristine.
Wow.
Wow.
The dice were still in the plastic bag with the crayons you used to fill in the numbers.
Nice, yeah, because the 20-sided die had zeros on both sides and ones.
Yeah, and the books were perfect. They hadn't the spines hadn't even been.
Wow, that's worth a
whole
house today.
We still got it. She was a good friend of ours, so we feel kind of a sentimental attachment to those rules.
Yeah.
But, anyway, he introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons, and I just took off with it from there. I immediately started wanting to run my own game, and I ran with my friends, and we got together, and I had a group of all of us teenagers who did not have girlfriends. It was very typical.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, right? With us back in the day.
Yeah, it was like we had no social life, so we got together on Saturdays at different parents' houses, and played in living rooms and dining rooms and stuff. Mm-hmm. And as far as the professional stuff goes, it was in, I think in about 1985, I found an ad in a gaming magazine from a company called FASA, who said that they were looking for writers for their BattleTech game.
Insane.
And I thought, this sounds like fun. And I'd played BattleTech a grand total of once. And when I played, my opponent ripped the arm off my mech and beat me to death with it. So that was my only experience with BattleTech. But I went ahead and said, sure, I want to write for BattleTech. And I sent them some writing samples, and they said, sure, here, work on this technical manual. So I did the first.
Well, look what I have in my hand here.
Right there, yes.
BattleTech 3025.
Yes, and they were going through it on. It wasn't on Reddit. It was on N-World, I think, or no, RPG.net. They were going through the old technical manuals and critiquing and assessing each one of the descriptions. And I think it's the mech's called the Ostsoul. And I had a female mech pilot who put a heart on her mech for every lover. And they were talking about how dumb and juvenile that was.
Oh, that was awesome.
And I jumped in and said, yes, it was. I was kind of a hormonal guy in his 20s.
Yeah, here it is.
I was in my 20s and hormonal, and it was kind of silly, but it was fun. And that led to some freelance work with, it started with Steve Jackson Games, but it didn't work out. I did some stuff for them, but for a variety of reasons, it didn't get published. But one of the editors from Steve Jackson Games spun off and started his own little group of freelance writers that he was kind of managing. And I was part of that. And that led to working on the world of Talislanta from Bard Games, which was a wonderful setting. It's being revived again, which is great.
Yeah.
And known for no elves. They always had dragon ads in Dragon Magazine, and it said Talislanta and no elves. That's all I knew about Talislanta for decades.
No elves. Yeah. Oh, they had dragons. No elves, no dwarves. And it was very strongly influenced by Jack Vance. And Jack Vance himself wrote a little letter to the creator saying he really liked it. So that was kind of cool.
Wow.
And then that led to me getting the work for TSR when I worked on a little bit of stuff for Greyhawk and some stuff for Lankmar and some Forgotten Realms stuff. And,
we're going to talk about some of it and ask some questions.
And that's and that's kind of your area.
But beyond that, we're going to go well beyond that, because if you see the stuff scrolling below, I was shocked. Like the stuff, like two of my favorite books of all time. The Relic and Rituals and Relic and Rituals 2.
They are fantastic.
Oh my God. They are such great, I got the whole pile here. I brought it all out, man. I brought it all out. Like both
I didn't write all of these. Some of these I was like the line developer or, and in the wake of my in the wake of my divorce, I was sort of rootless and I hadn't done any actual work for a long time. So I ended up writing to White Wolf, and they said, "Oh yes, well we've got this new, we're launching this new line of fantasy adventures."
Gary Con Live rated in
Sword and Sorcery Studios, and
I got all the Scarred Land stuff here, man.
The Scarred Land.
I got it all here. Yeah, because it is underappreciated works, Anthony. Underappreciated. Thank you, Gary Con. Got some giveaways going.
I thought it was a really subversive kind of thing that tried to sort of stand some of the tropes on their heads. Like we had a whole city of non-evil necromancers. Yep, there you are.
I got almost every. I went through all my Scarlands books, Anthony, to figure out which ones you were noted in, and this is what I came up with.
I think you got more than I do, because I think some of my copies have disappeared over the years.
Oh man, this is some wonderful content we can discuss.
It was amazing. It was great. Yep. I liked the idea of the good necromancer. That one of the rulers of the necromancer city is a good aligned elven lich, for example. And we included a lot of more adult content and a lot more kind of maybe morally ambiguous stuff. And we weren't trying to be edgy or anything, but we were sort of trying to kind of expand the envelope as to what was, what qualified for, fantasy role playing. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I turned the helm over to Ari Marmel and Joseph Carricker after that. And currently, that one that's on there right now, that was with Frog God. That's my favorite of the stuff that I've done recently, the Beware the Yule Cat.
I tried to pull down as much as I could, Anthony. You got a lot of...
It's a Christmas adventure using Icelandic mythology, and I loved it because it was this very beloved milieu in Iceland, and we got permission to use this very treasured Icelandic poem about the Yule Cat. We got permission from the author's family, and it was just delightful. That was really fun to do. And so and I'm still at it.
And that's so we're looking at some 85, almost 40 years. The Yule Cat is the Yuletide masterpiece. 40 years. So let's start at the beginning here.
Boy. Yeah.
So
sure.
My second favorite game after D&D's BattleTech.
Excellent.
So we've been playing for years. I have 3 of the 4 that I think you were noted for. The 3025.
Yeah, it was
More Tales of the Black Widow, which is a great one.
Yep.
Twycross.
Yeah.
I don't have the original Wolf's Dragoons because it's like $200. That's the one I don't have. It's the original Wolf's Dragoon book.
Yeah, that was fun too. When we did Wolf's Dragoons, and the whole thing was that they were mystery men and mystery women who were from outside the inner sphere, and
3005.
And they didn't tell me that they hadn't figured that out yet. So I did the whole book, and I think some people expected to have some answers to the mystery of where they came from, and that was not revealed in the course of the source book. And I think the pulling back the curtain, I don't think they knew.
They didn't know about the clan, turning them into clans.
They hadn't invented
at that point. Yeah,
they hadn't invented the clans, so it was just they're mysterious.
Even with they had people with the last name Kerensky in there. I'm sorry, I'm talking Greek to you here.
No. This is
Natasha Kerensky and Jamie Wolf, but they still hadn't said, oh, you know what, we're going to make this Sibco group of that they're basically clones or they're genetically engineered humans. They hadn't gotten to that point yet, but it was the early days are just. That up to the Fourth Succession War 3039, in my opinion, is just the golden era. I'm not a big clan guy, but I just loved the books that were published, the stories, and I'm so glad that you were part of it.
It was fun, and I enjoyed it. I was, I have mixed feelings about the clans also, and I was also a little unhappy with how they killed Jamie Wolf, but oh well, it's their IP. They can do what they want with it.
And that tends to happen a lot. Where even I always say this in Front of the Ashes. Carl Sargent killed off a lot of characters just in the writing, and so the same thing has happened. And you're right. It's their IP, but they
can do it.
Yeah, exactly. But there were so many.
I might have done it differently, but hey,
right.
I was just the hired gun, which is fine. They were fun to work with. I really liked them.
It jumped you in. It got you kickstarted into the world of writing, which is wonderful. Yeah. So how did the TSR connection come from FASA? I know you said you had one that was Steve Jackson. I was mostly working for FASA, which here's a secret. Here's something no one knows. FASA stands for Fredonian Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Oh, I always wonder that because I haven't played that many FASA games, but I've seen it around always. Yeah,
that's a trade secret or anything. So I think it's safe that I'm telling you that. But I asked Sam Lewis what it meant, and he finally told me. So I'm passing that on. So
awesome. Now we know.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I worked on BattleTech for a long time, and then that got me involved with the Steve Jackson games thing. And as I said. The Steve Jackson, none of the stuff I did for Steve Jackson got published, and some of it, I don't know. And looking back, I wonder at its quality. But that got me involved in this little group of freelance guys called Jovialis, which included several people like Kevin Murphy and a number of other people who are still in the industry today. And that was under the tutelage of a guy named Bill Armentrout, who was a really fine editor and designer for Steve Jackson games, and became a good friend of mine. He was contacting people, and TSR said, well, we need some people to work for D&D, and so he offered it to me. And I think the first one I did, I think it was Tales of Lankmar. I think that was the first one. The first two things I did were Lankmar books. I did Tales of Lankmar, and then we did the rewrite of Lankmar City of Adventure. We rewrote that.
Oh, so you were not involved in this original one. You were the one that was a remake of this one.
The one after that, because there was more added material to that.
Yeah, the 2E1 was the one. Yeah.
And I added. I put in synopses of all the stories.
Yeah.
And I listed where all the original NPCs had appeared, and I did a bunch of other stuff. So that was a lot of fun, and it's kind of fun to be part of that whole thing,
There's been this. If we go on Lankmar, there's been the talk that, well, should it be in its own setting, or where am I going to put it in my Greyhawk, right? I know a couple people have actually, before Jason Zaverta passed, he used Lankmar as his Greyhawk City, right, Anna?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But a lot of people put it like west of the Flanaess map too, in some lands.
I would
there.
probably put it on another continent. I don't think it's not inconsistent, because I think Liber had more influence on D&D than Tolkien, actually. Because I mean, I think Patrick. The fact that they called one of the classes thieves.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the class is called thief before it became rogue was from, because you read the Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser books. There's one where it's talking about how the Mouser has a crew of sturdy fighter thieves.
Right.
And like, come on,
Yeah.
So I suspect that had a lot to do with it. That was one of the influences, and the fact that they got the license to do it. I'm glad to see there's still Lankmar stuff being done by DCC and Savage Worlds too.
From what I gather, everyone really loves this book. I mean, this is it's a great book.
Yeah.
I think it works really well, and I think his milieu, I think it does fit. I think and what doesn't fit, I think you can tweak, because, for example, he had like black magic and white magic in our setting was clerical magic.
Right.
And black magic was, arcane magic, wizard magic. And wizards in Lankmar are uniformly weird and probably aliens. But so or a lot of them are aliens, and but I think that still fits. I think it fits very well, and it was kind of fun to do the adventures that are associated with it too. So so that was where it all started, and then we did and I did the Greyhawk ones.
Yes, and we're gonna delve into them, because I know we're gonna have questions from the audience. Correct?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So I know you're not watching on Twitch, Anthony, but we've got like 80 people watching now. So
okay, great. Hi.
Yeah, absolutely. And a wonderful community we have. So anything like in Lankmar, though, anything you would have loved to have, if you had your way, done a little differently? Or
there was an adventure in Tales of Lankmar called When Walks the Worm, WYRM, which was more kind of a kaiju thing.
Okay.
It had a giant monster, and that wasn't really. I didn't feel that was consistent with the setting, with Fritz Leiber's work, and I probably would have done that one differently. Some of the other stuff.
Cool. Okay.
I think that's one of them. The rest of it I was pretty happy with. I never got the opportunity to talk to Fritz myself, because he was at a Norwestcon I was at, but he was very, very elderly and in very poor health, and he was in a wheelchair, and I didn't really want to bother him and run up and say, "Hey, I wrote the D&D adventure that Mr. Leiber." Wow, I didn't want to do that. I never chatted with him about that, but that I think that's my big regret. But that's all right,
And you would have hoped that he would have been like, "Hey, good to see you," and all. I know, for example, Jim Ward is rolling around at GaryCon, and he's like the Pied Piper, and like everyone's just following behind him now every year. So oh my gosh! But what a wonderful publication there. Nawan Ghouls were interesting. Tim says, "Yeah," and Nawan Ghouls actually were in the Deities and Demigods book, right? And then they had to take out. Oh, they kept that. They kept the
Lankmar stuff. And depending on who you listen to, they didn't actually have to take out the
Melnibone,
the Elric and
Cthulhu,
Cthulhu stuff. But that's kind of a confusing story, and every time I hear it, it's a different story. But that is too bad. I still have my old one that has those in it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
yeah, that's cool.
Thanks.
Nawan, one of the things about Leiber is his stuff was so sexy. I mean, most of they were very very exotic, and of course you have the ghouls who are invisible except for their skeletons, but they're like humans. They're just their flesh is invisible, and we have, of course, Fafhrd has to be involved with a female ghoul in one of the stories.
Of course.
You know, it's like
they didn't shy away from much back in the 70s
No,
and
not at
80s
all.
and stuff. It was, yeah.
You
You
know,
have to
and
remember, it was not mainstream. It was for us, for inside nerds.
oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder, wow, what would I do?
Yeah.
If I was, if how would one date a ghoul? Because they're perfectly okay.
Keep your eyes
They're-
closed.
But there's been Hollywood movies
Keep
and
the
TV
lights
series
off.
and stuff lately that has delved into
I'm
the
sorry.
same idea. So
Yeah.
we can't say that the world has gone completely overwalk like me from a liberal perspective. So
Right.
I have to defend it. There is some that still attempt to push
Yeah.
the envelope a little bit here and there.
Well,
So,
I do very subtly myself, just so
Yeah.
you know. But I don't.
yeah.
I don't
So it's kind of, it's interesting to see that and to me it's good to see that there should be lots of cool stuff happening, and sometimes there will be someone who steps over a little bit, but we need to
Mhm.
be kind of understand that comes with the territory occasionally. So
Yes.
What a great
Yeah.
you said it's a great publication, and
Yeah.
up to you if your Greyhawk's your own or your Forgotten Realms is your own. Place if you want to put Lankmar in there, there's no reason you cannot. Or
It
have
would
it its
work.
own
I
setting.
just, whenever I got something like City State of the Invincible Overlord or something, I would just slap it in my campaign.
Oh my gosh! I just played that. My buddy Tim. We just played yesterday morning live stream a City State game of
Mhm.
Invincible Overlord because that's been going on for like 40 years. So
Mhm.
he has this Wildland City State. I have my Greyhawk, and we play in each other's games. So yeah, my gosh.
I had a friend that played in City State continuously, and he said he lost more characters on this one street where the encounter was a troll in the trash can.
Yeah.
And he says it's just every time the troll pops out of the trash can. Yeah. Anyway.
Great. Well, the great thing about City State was, evil's everywhere, and the good is not as prolific. It's not. It's not a good versus evil campaign setting.
Oh, I did a whole. I did a whole campaign, and the characters ended up. They ended up murdering the invincible Overlord and took. It was great. He was not so invincible in the end.
He is in my buddy Tim's. In my character's a countess now. Has just been after 30 years of gameplay has been titled by, and now he's running me all over the place to do crap. So,
I also let my players walk all over me. So
You're okay. So you're
I'm a total doormat. So
doormat DM, but that's okay. But
doormat DM, yeah.
How long are you still playing in any campaigns?
I am running. I discovered OSE, and
great.
I have old school. I'm not a fanatic about it like some people. I enjoy it for sort of nostalgic reasons. And I'm doing an OSE, and I think I could talk about this. I'm doing an OSE, more or less a playtest of a setting that I'm working on for Frog God. I'm working on an OSE setting that's going to be more sort of sword and sorcery driven than sort of high fantasy. Mm-hmm. And so I'm trying to create a kind of a Conan-esque kind of quality with OSE. And I'm doing something on one of the old lost continents on the Frog God setting. And I'm developing that. It's going painfully slowly, but I'm developing that bit by bit, and so that's what I'm working on right now. And I am playing in my friend's Star Wars
RPG,
the D20 Star Wars that we started back in 2000.
Nice.
And been like playing ever since. And boy, I'm kind of tired of Star Wars, but hey, I'll keep playing.
You play a rogue type, don't you?
Usually, yeah.
I know.
in the current incarnation, I changed it up, and I'm playing an ex-Imperial war criminal.
Oh, nice.
Who's having to live down his part in an infamous massacre. So, but I usually like backstabbing and.
Absolutely.
I have roguish tendencies.
All good. But it's great to hear you're still playing. I'm glad to hear that.
That's wonderful.
I kind of would go crazy if I didn't.
Michael's response in chat was, "Yep, it was vague enough." If you were what you discussed, which is great. Oh man! All right, so. you got Lankmore, and then you got some of this really, really fun stuff. And let's discuss this because you did your best. Battle system is hard to write for, right?
Yes.
So let's go.
Yes.
Let's go to Patriots of Ulick.
Patriots of Ulick.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
What was the review? Because you remember the evil god is named Euz, I believe.
Yep, Euz. Yep.
Yeah, and one review said, "Be careful of this product, or it'll Euz all over you."
Oh man, that's rough.
That was actually and a more forgiving review said that the author was good, but he was kind of in love with his own sense of humor. And I suppose, I was trying to be funny, and it was fun. And I decided, I wanted to do a battle system battle at the end.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of what sank it. I think it was I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed writing it, and I think as far as it goes, it's a pretty good product. But then that's just, pride of authorship, I suppose. It's not widely beloved, because when I've seen, lists of the best, it's sort of it's not the worst by any means, but it's sort of near the bottom tier. But the whole thing is like, not a lot of, frankly, Battle System never really took off. I love that picture.
Oh, yeah, some great artwork. I
love that illustration.
Yeah. Is that Ken Frank?
That is
Ken Frank. Ken Frank.
Yeah, he did some really, really cool Greyhawk illustrations.
They had some great artists. They had some great artists. There's something. Yeah. Just kind of a sidebar. If there's something I love more than anything else, it's seeing what I came up with translated into a piece of art that I feel so. Yeah, that excites me so much. I love that, to see my words being turned into art by someone who's really talented. And that is just beautiful. And I had fun writing it. I play tested it with my friends. They liked it. And, I don't remember too much about it, but I thought it was okay.
I like the plot. And I also have to come to your defense a bit. It is hard, must be much harder to come into a setting that has been in publication for, well, back then, almost 30 years or 25 years at least, and have a long history of a product that you have to kind of know and adhere to in one way, because every time you have something you have in fact checked or stepped over, the Greyhawk police in a community, we will be coming like hawks saying, "Oh, you forgot to read this little paragraph like that was published 28 years ago in some little Dragon article or something."
Boy.
So
I worked on Green Ronin's Song of Ice and Fire role-playing game.
Oh, wow.
I wrote the history chapter, and I wrote the chapter about House Stark. And you want to talk about fraught and a fan base and a lot of material that needs to be kept in mind. That was crazy. Yeah. But, there's a lot of that, I was worried I'd get an angry letter from George R. R.
Yeah, I think the rule is that first you have to prove to the community you know the rules and know the lore, then you can break it. And that's because that's what we do in the community. We break the lore all the time, but at first you have to tell the community, I know what the lore says.
Well, you got to know the rules before you break the rules.
Exactly, and that's the thing. If you come in as a hired gun on a project and write and do a good job, someone in the community will point out some little thing. And
Ulick. I mean, I'd done some stuff in Greyhawk, but Ulick, boy, you want to talk about an obscure corner of Greyhawk.
Yeah, it's very obscure. So Jay have taken domain over it.
See that my campaign in 1980s, the Order of Ulick. It's a knighthood of the Ulick states going back to 1980. Yeah, because it wasn't that used that much. I want to show you something though, Anthony.
Sure.
So it's only been about 2 years ago. Anna was tweaking her map and then realized that this area of this is the Prinsfield, right? This is your area of Ulick right here.
Yeah.
So running right here, this strip was not exact to
Exactly. It didn't fit. There was someone pointing it out.
Your map.
I'm sorry. I forgot
the map
who
for it.
sent me, and because I looked at your
The French
map and
gentleman.
I did it.
The French
Yeah.
gentleman.
Yeah. And,
I forget. Yeah.
yeah. And then someone
Yeah.
sent me and sent me a whole bunch of notes. I should look into this. So I actually retweaked my map again, so it will match the Patriots of Ulick.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. That's so cool. Because I
Yeah.
mean, I actually love fandom like that. I really love the people who are just really so into it. And so, because like I said, I go on like YouTube and watch these BattleTech videos. These people have BattleTech channels where they talk about the history and the lore of BattleTech. And there's a whole hour thing devoted to the Marauder mech. And it's like, I wrote that lore. I came up with that, and now it's like being, and I don't think they even necessarily know that I did, and I don't care. That doesn't bother me. What I'm mostly just fascinated by is how this lore that you create years ago then evolves into something, and people are
exactly
like,
comes to life and cherished and used and tweaked.
Remember it better than I do. No, that's great. I love it. I love
yeah.
So Anthony, to show you the level of this area for me, and Anna's tweaked her map. I mean, my Pomarge area and Ulick border running all the way up in this has got a ton of stuff, including my free city of Altamira, which is placed here on the county of Ulick.
There was a little empty spot there.
So much so,
it's
being ported over to Choler Games Arid, and I'm going to have it in my own box set.
Oh, that's great.
So just note that, I love the area, and it was just to have the one thing I loved about Patriots of Ulick was it described a part of Ulick that was never described before, and that's what was cool about it.
Well, I think that's why they gave it to me. It was kind of a little corner of the map that hadn't really been widely explored, and it was it's fun talking, the halflings and the battle with the orcs and all that other stuff. It was all, a lot of fun. And so, I'm glad people still enjoy it.
Definitely.
Awesome. Yeah.
So let's get next. The most well-known of the Greyhawk era publications of yours.
Yeah. So, okay, this and Patriots of Ulick was in a period where I'd gotten a communication from TSR said that they were trying to kind of rough up Greyhawk a little bit, make it more barbaric, more more sword and sorcery, up that aspect of it more. And as a result of that, they were trying to sort of shake things up. And they said, "Oh, okay. Well, Rary turns on the other members of the Eight and murders a couple of them."
Yeah.
And so I get to write about how Tensor got murdered. And it's like, you mean the floating disc guy? Kill off the floating disc guy for this other member of the Eight that I've never heard of. I mean, he was not one of the better known members, but there it was. And they gave me the outline of what was going to happen, but they gave me a lot of leeway. But I had to come up with kind of a rationale for how a loyal member of this circle of Eight was going to turn on his brethren. And whether that worked or not, I guess, is up to the individual reader.
So you had to collaborate with Sargent, or did Sargent write the general and From the Ashes?
Yeah, I got the general outline from TSR, and they said, "Here's what we want to have happen," and then he moves to the Bright Desert and sets up his own kingdom. And beyond that, I had lots of stuff that I could do. So I came up with the nomads and the giant psychic scorpion.
Man scorpions. Everyone's talking about the man scorpions out there.
And I think some people, mixed reviews. Somebody was really offended by the fact that I called the Blue Dragon Volt.
Oh, because
that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Found that name a little bit just kind of cheesy, which I suppose it depends.
You can always rename it in your campaign if you
you can call it anything you want.
But I think Volt is cool because they use lightning.
I would probably still do that, I do think I called a red, I had a friend called a red dragon Scorch. So, I mean, that's very, very, descriptive. And it was fun to develop kind of a whole kingdom because he'd fled down there, founded his kingdom. And this was in the days before computer graphics were widely available. I had a computer, but it wasn't capable of really doing much. So that was back when I sent them the manuscript. I printed it out and sent it to them. And then they sent it back to me with edits. So there was a lot of that going on. So we didn't have collaborative software or anything. And graphically, I did this huge map of the area, and I hand drew the whole map, and I painted it with watercolors, and I rolled it up and I sent it in a tube. That was how we did it back then, and that was fun. And the one thing, another aspect of Greyhawk I love is the heraldry and all the really cool
heraldry got and maps got me into the setting.
Oh yeah. There's really cool blazons for all the countries and stuff. And I was with the SCA at that time, and so I was into heraldry, and I love designing the heraldry for Rary with the mailed fist holding the moon and stuff like that. That was just I thought those were and there it is. And again,
it's a great map.
So the Legend of Sulm, did you write that all about? There was an ancient, these were lands, right? Anna, there was a whole, because it's always said Anna thinks that this was all a magical desert. It really wasn't natural, right? There's all conjecture about that. So if you wrote that on there, that really sets a backdrop for this area.
Oh yeah, that was all completely pretty much new territory. So I could pretty much do anything I wanted. And I was sort of following in the, what I'd later do previously done with the Wolf's Dragoons thing is I kind of left the mystery. I kind of left it for, that the individual game master could make their own decisions as to what the source
you didn't fill in all the details.
Right,
so
which is cool.
I think it's cool. Yeah, that's good.
I left that. And and I was proud of it. I thought it was fun. Again, both of the two Greyhawk. I think I just did two Greyhawks. I think those were both really a lot of fun. That was in an era. I remember we talked about that a little bit. That I think the overall quality of products was up and down.
They produced so much stuff back then that it was kind of it was probably hard for them to
it was rough
maintain quality on everything. So there
were some that were really terrific stuff. Well, when you produce a lot, you're going to produce some winners and some dogs.
Did you feel like you got the right support in order to do a perfect job, or was it more like you had to work really tough time frame and spit it out, or
they were the time actually okay. The time frames were generous. They were the time frames were generous, and the pay was good. The pay was excellent, and paid on time, which is something. And I had real contracts for the first time, because previously I just worked on a handshake mostly.
Nice.
And I asked the question, especially time-wise, because I worked on both projects that you have plenty of time, and you can redo. And other things is you have to rush it out the door and get a month. And
that's
you have
the thing. These days, I feel like sometimes the deadlines are so close that there's not enough time to do a really good work on development. I think development is the key. Editing, of course, because you got to have a good editor, because and I'm an okay editor. I don't think I'm a great editor. So I want to have someone who's really good, edit my stuff and find all the typos and find all the illogical points and find all the grammatical stuff and say, this doesn't make any sense, rewrite this sentence. I want someone to do that with mine. I really do. And we had plenty of time, and I would send them the manuscript all printed out, and then they would mark it up. And who was it? Karen Boomgarden, I think, was my editor at that time. and she was excellent. And she redlined it, put everything in here, saying, "Well, maybe change this," and I would do that, and then I would do it all over again. Now this time I did that. I had a word processor, so I didn't have to retype everything. Or at least I had.
Yeah, because you had to type it with double distance.
Yeah, you had to do
lines and stuff. Yeah, so they could edit. Yeah,
and but I sent them hard copy because, among other things, there wasn't really a consistent operating system.
Yeah, you never knew what they would look like digitally.
Steve Jackson Games gave you a bonus if you wrote with a word processor called XYWrite, which I have never heard of before or since, but you got a 10% bonus if you used that word processor. In this case, someone had to sit down and, basically transcribe my stuff.
They had to type it in. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to retype it in. Somebody did. So it's easier these days. I'm doing some editing right now for Sandy Peterson. And that's a project I want to talk about later.
Oh, please. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they just told me I can promote the hell out of it.
Oh, yes, exactly. Plug away, because we do it here.
We love plugs. We love promoting.
Yep.
Well, this is very exciting. I'll tell you about it later. But, I liked working with TSR. I liked working with Karen. I liked Bruce Hurd was terrific. I really like.
He's really nice. Yeah.
Bruce Hurd is a real sweetheart, and I really like working with him on everything. I have no real complaints about that. I mean, this was in a time.
What years were this?
This was about 19. This would be about 80.
Oh yes, it was long before. It was before they got into financial troubles and all that in mid 90s.
I think that was kind of at the dawn of that. That would be around 1990.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Roughly around 1990.
So they were still pushing out products and doing a lot of cool stuff.
I think I started in 88, and then I think I worked till the very end. I mean, I worked with them to the very end. I did some stuff for Birthright.
Oh wow! Birthright could have been great.
That was one of their last
last hurrahs before they had to be sold out.
I really wanted to do Planescape, but I never got around to that one. But I worked on Birthright, so I was working up to the very end, and it was kind of obvious from my end that things were kind of, communications were getting a little rougher. And
Birthright is a very interesting setting concept that I think have some legs, and someone should pick up that theme of more political organized play, in that sense that you have a lot of like Game of Thrones backstabbing between realms and cool stuff like that. There's room for that too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a lot of fun too. And I know that this was also a period. I mean, there was a lot of ferment going on behind the scenes at TSR at that time. This is second edition, and they were sort of going crazy with publishing everything. I mean, God, they published a lot at that time. I always got good communication with them. They always paid me on time. They always responded quickly. Their editorial stuff was good. And as we noted, the art was terrific.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Second edition art is just Wayne Reynolds. My gosh.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Those Rary the Trader stuff, or I mean, not Rary, the Marco Volo.
That's another one that so the Realm of Ed we haven't even gotten to yet of stuff that you did, and this is the one that's below me. You did I'm not sure how many of the Marco Volo series you did. This is the one I know that you were involved with.
I did the whole trilogy. That was all me, and it was my that was when I got after Greyhawk. I did a few Forgotten Realms things. And like some of the guidebooks,
like this tidbit coming up.
I got here. Oh yeah, Elves of Evermeet.
Cool.
The gal who wrote the novels. Shoot. Oh, sorry, I apologize. I don't remember her name. The gal who wrote the Evermeet novels said that she really liked this product.
Elaine Cunningham. It says everyone says Elaine Cunningham.
It is. Oh yeah, Elaine Cunningham. Thank you. Sorry, Elaine. This one, what's kind of funny is things like, I think, and it's a long time ago, so I don't always remember. the particulars, but I think things like the Blade Singer, I think, did I come up with that? I don't remember, but I mean,
that's a cool class.
Yeah.
I came up with some new classes, and I came up with the categorization of the moon and sun elves, and all that stuff that is still being used. And I go in and I play Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm looking at this going, oh, wow.
Yep.
Kept my lore, they kept some of my lore. I'm so excited, and that one was that was no, I'm also really pleased with that one. That was really came out nicely.
So Ed Greenwood's a great friend of us in the show, and he's been on like 20, 30 times. Did you have to collaborate with Ed on this at all? Get some advice?
I chatted with him several times. We chatted on the phone, and I said, well, what do you think of this? Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah, he's easy going.
And I, asked him, how did the whole, Forgotten Realms happen at all and stuff like that. And, that's that sort of thing. And he was really cool to talk to. I think he was working at the library at that time.
He still was working at the library.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. He's still a library. Does that.
I am,
here we go. Here's the kids.
By trade, I was an IT guy. What a shock! But I am officially retired now, so this is all I'm doing. So yeah,
the beloved hobby / side gig is now the thing.
Yes,
now it's
now the thing. Yeah, it's absolutely great. And we had kits. That's I remember. We had the kits.
Yep,
I remember those.
Blade Singer, Elven Minstrel, War Wizard, Huntsman, Spell Filcher, Collector. I love that you have a kit for a triple class here.
Yeah,
which is cool. Infiltrator, and you get the wizard kits, High Mage, Militant Wizard.
Whenever I played with my friends, we kind of merrily ignored the rules, and all the elves were multi-classed, and we didn't have any level restrictions on them. So,
my God, that sounds familiar, Anthony. We're elves and half elves too.
Fighter Mage. I was the only person who did that.
Fighter Cleric Mage. My main character, the channel's named after Lord Gazumba, is Fighter Cleric Mage, triple class half elf. Yeah.
So some of this stuff was from Complete Book of Elves. Right. So those were not ones I came up with, but I was just telling people how to do it, and giving them suggestions and stuff.
Yeah, look, you even have a section exceeding level limits. Just do it.
Take that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So this was so Volo and this were the ones I found in. Right. In your ever changing doing the Forgotten Realms. So I have this that everyone is talking about from Dark Sun. This.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dune Trader.
Dune Trader. Yeah, I don't have the whole book here. I have the cover. Yeah. So
that was fun. No, Dark Sun. Wow. They came
another awesome setting concept that they should bring up again.
There. Yep. I mean, it's too bad that things went down the way they did, because I mean, I did love their settings. I have to admit, and I would love to see. I mean, I would love to see that done again. That WotC or somebody bring that back with more modern, with a sort of a more modern look. It had some great ideas, and those adventures. The adventures in that with the flip books, in the little the spiral bound flip books, which I thought was kind of an interesting idea. Yeah. But that was fun, because I think
while you're thinking, I'm going to say the Dark Sun setting logo is one of the best ones I've ever seen. I love that logo. It looks so cool. Yeah.
I talked to a guy that was involved in that, and he said that they had a whole meeting coming up with the name of the setting. So they went through all these different ideas, and they finally settled on Dark Sun, which is a good one. And the whole post-apocalyptic desert, magical World War III kind of feeling to it. It had a lot. That had a lot going for it, and it did not go out as it didn't get the legs that it really deserved because of WotC's.
I'm gonna risk a quick stream crash, because someone. No one did this. One did this, but someone did. Just sent me the PDF of Dune Trader. So so I can bring it up. There we go.
There you go.
All right, that was very kind. Yep. So because I've never I'm not a Dark Sun person, but But like, so what do you remember about this? What cool like uh,
Um,
great art
Yeah, I remember.
merchant
I don't
houses.
have a lot of, coming up with those merchant houses was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Those sort of chocobo kind of things that they
thank you
ride
very
around
much.
on. I think I came up with the stats for those in
Okay,
that too. The Crodlu, I think they were called, and uh,
yeah, looks
the
like
just
Java
coming up with these
almost.
different just coming up with these different houses and the different, in this really, innovative, different setting. I really just really loved the fact that they'd done that they came up with that. And there was so much imagination involved in some of their settings
I
that
remember.
I
Yeah, I
just,
remember when the computer game came out for that first. That was kind of
yeah.
groundbreaking. It was the
Mhm.
first MMO that wasn't crashing constantly like the original Neverwinter Nights was hackable. So the
The,
Dark
the,
Sun was
the
actually very popular.
Dark Sun. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So let me tell you about that.
Oh,
When that came out, the MMO,
yeah.
that was on something called Total Entertainment Network,
TN,
right?
yeah, yep.
Okay, which was a bad idea because they thought people would want to pay $40 a month to play games that they could play on someone's server for free. But oh well. Um, I got my job as a support operator for Total Entertainment Network based on the fact that I'd written these.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because they had the place where I was working said we got a new contract. It's for this gaming outfit called Total Entertainment Network, and here are the stuff they do. They did World of Warcraft, they did Red Alert, they did Doom, and or no, they did
That's a lot in
they
the
didn't do
90s.
Doom, but they did one of those other FPSs, Quake, excuse me,
Quake, that's, yeah, okay.
Quake, and Dark Sun. And I was like, oh, I used to write for Dark Sun. So I applied and they put me on it. And it was probably the best 15 months of my life up to that point because I got to support this gaming outfit. And in order to properly support, oh, yes, they also had
Yeah,
Diablo.
you had to get in there and play, is what you're
I
saying.
had to actually play the game. So playing games between calls was perfectly okay and actually encouraged.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
That
was
is great.
absolutely
Yeah,
awesome.
they wanted you
Wow.
to know the product
Yeah.
intimately, so
Yeah.
play with it. Yep.
I also had to deal with the customers, which was not as much fun. But
No, but yeah, every
yeah.
job has its downsides. So
Well,
So basically,
okay.
were you a mod? Were you basically what they called a mod now? You're in there and if there were issues.
Oh yeah, I had mod. I could
okay.
kick people out. So and I like I didn't use it. I didn't even kick out the people who were like being mean to me. They didn't know that I was an employee and I was, I had the power to permanently ban them. But, and it was strange because at that point we had, on the Dark Sun one, we had, for example, we had guilds.
Yeah.
And these guys started a guild called the Mercs who were running around murdering everybody because they had PvP and the characters were not secure.
Right.
So you could just download your character and use something called de-ice and just max everything out.
Do you remember the dropping bag glitch?
Yes.
You could take a bag of all your gear, drop it, drop it,
yes.
drop it.
I
No, this is
remember
in
that
Dark
in
Sun,
Diablo.
and it would copy.
Diablo had a similar kind of bug that you could do things.
I got so rich on that game doing that.
It was awesome.
But I played legitimately, so these guys that went in and hacked their own characters just would always kick my ass. And
Right.
Obviously MMOs are more are a little
more. Yeah, a little bit more now. Yeah, but that's just those were the fun time. That was the experimental time where you just didn't know.
Period, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was tech support for that.
Oh wow, that's cool. Thanks for that story. That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was great to know. Oh man.
I got to play games and get paid for about 15 months before the whole enterprise collapsed because they charged too much money.
Yeah, $40 a month in the 90s is a lot.
No, in 1996. In about $1996, $40 a month. Holy crap!
That's like $100 today, almost.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. So yeah, but yeah, I could tell stories about that one. But in any,
that's great. That's a great story.
Yeah, Doom Trader, and I did the other Dark Sun one was called the Asticlian Gambit.
Okay, I missed that one.
And that one was an adventure, and I did that with the late Aaron Alston,
Okay.
who gave me the outline, and then I wrote it up. And I was really honored to be working with him because he was kind of a legend back then too, and he's since passed away, which is really sad. But that was a lot of fun too, and they had those real interesting flip book adventure setups, which were probably pretty expensive at a time when they were hemorrhaging cash. So, that was, that may have contributed to things. I don't know. But, yeah.
But as the 2E era wound down, you started into the 3E era, and you didn't slow down, man. You didn't. So we're gonna have to get a chronological order. So as far here,
that picture is me in younger days.
Yes. Well, here's my 3E edition. I think books I have.
Yeah.
That have you as writing in it. Some unbelievable stuff here. So
Scarred Lands was I talked about that a little before, but I mean Scarred Lands was phenomenal. It was a great experience. It was kind of
before or after like the Sword and Sorcery era of the core rule books, like I have Bard's Gate, both Welcome Rituals and the Tome of Artifacts. Or for it, like
that was before all that.
Okay, it's just okay. So this was first.
That was first. That was the first one. And some of those things, there were some really good ones. And I also gotta say that Holofaust,
awesome.
That was really good. Oh yeah, I think I wrote that one, and I did some of those.
Faithful and the Forsaken.
I think I worked I worked on some of the boy. I'm not even remembering some of these. It's just amazing. Barak Torn. Yep. These
are just ones I have.
Oh no, those are some great ones. And then and I gotta say, I think the thing that I like most about that was the fact that the Sword and Sorcery Studios began the careers of a number of people who are still active.
Yeah.
The previously mentioned Joseph Carricker, who was he ended up becoming he ended up as the line developer for Swords and Sorcery after I left, and then he became, I think, the line developer for Vampire for a while.
Oh,
and he, I think, was his work with me and with Swords and Sorcery was, if not his first published work, it was some of his really early published work, and that sent him in that direction. Jeff Harkness, who is the editor for Frog God right now, he started with us, and I got my I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. My former girlfriend and actually now dear friend Rhiannon Louv got involved in that. She had shown me some of her writing and said, I'd really like to work on this. And I said, okay, have a chapter. And that took off, and she's been doing stuff. She's doing stuff for video games, and she does still's doing freelance stuff. And so that's great. And we had any number of other people whose career kind of started, or at least that was an early part of their career. So I felt like I could kind of help these people become bigger in the industry because of that.
That is wonderful.
I loved working the White Wolf. Well, attending Gen Con with the White Wolf guys is an experience. That's all I can say.
But they had they were early 2000s, or that they were really, really popular, and it was huge.
Yeah.
They're still huge, I think, big, but
not
as big as they were even more dominant back then.
They've sort of gone through some changes in ownership and stuff like that.
Yeah, now it's an Icelandic, the EVE Online guys that owns
I think
it.
they're still. I think they still are.
Yeah. Okay.
And, then there's, I know, some of their properties have gone to other people, but it was crazy in the day. It was kind of like FASA. I mean, FASA was huge when I was working with BattleTech, and then they sort of went into decline and sold off the properties, and then White Wolf has sort of been distributed among several other companies, but their properties are still there, and a lot of the people who were working on it are still active, and some just amazing people. Justin Aquile, I got to watch him box people at Gen Con. We had a little underground boxing tournament that
you had Fight Club.
Yeah, we had a fight club. Yeah,
nice.
And it was Marcus of Queensbury, boxing with gloves. Of course, we set up a ring, and the aforementioned Relu, the ring girl, holding up the signs. And
oh my gosh,
I did not fight because I heard that Justin really liked to hit people, so I did not fight. I just watched. So, that was it. And Justin, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
But no, there and it was cool because we got to sort of transgress some of the limitations that had been placed on role playing up to that point after the Satanic Panic and everything. Because back in the TSR days, I was going to mention this. I forgot to mention this. I had to sign an agreement. They had a writing code, which was based on the comics code. So there were certain things you couldn't talk about, and I don't remember the particulars of it, but it was very rigid. And they were very concerned about their image with the general public, so they wanted to say, okay, no demon worship, no excessive gore, no sex, no etc. And some of those were sensible, and some of those I thought put undue restrictions on what we could do.
Well, there was some time later on that these envelopes were when Wizard of the Coast take over early to they were went the other way for a while.
Yeah, they got rid of that. They still, I mean, obviously there's still things you.
Oh yeah. Now it's going the other way. Now this rein in again because now it's also more mainstream than it was back then. Yeah.
Well, and there's some people who just want to go out there and push the envelope. And
right, that's true.
And, that's fine if they want to do that. But, I'm proposing I'm going to be proposing an adventure to Frog God for Halloween. Yeah. That's going to be kind of Clive Barker-ish. So we'll see. And I'm going to talk to them about, how far can we go with this? I don't want to be egregious or offensive, but I also don't want to be too restricted in the material I can do. So but I'll talk to them about it and see what they have to say.
It also depends on who you're aiming it for. I mean, D&D today is supposed to be for everybody, which means that from kids to adults to everybody, and from super nerds.
I believe in content warnings.
Me too.
I support that, and I believe that people should play any way they want to, etc. So so that's that was kind of one of the things that I liked about it, is the fact that, and the art could have some nudity, which that's not something, I wasn't like, oh boy, nudity. It was more like, oh, okay, we don't have the same restrictions that we had before. We can be a little bit more open-minded and a little bit more open about the stories we tell. And we had that stuff. We had, like I said, we tried to avoid we tried to avoid some of the tropes, and we tried to include some of the tropes. I wrote a short story for the collection, for the Scarred Lands collection, about the head of the Order of Paladins, and I wanted to get into what really goes on in a paladin's head. Paladin is not just an obnoxious do-gooder, that annoys everybody in the party. He is actually a human being with real feelings and real thing. And I tried to get to that. And so it gave us a chance to maybe delve deeper into the underpinnings and some of the tropes and things, and like I said, we had a good lich, who was, a good elven lich who was actually a very nice guy, so yeah. So Scarlands was a huge experience for me. We won a couple of Ennies. We got a couple of nominations, and I got up to accept the Ennie at Gen Con, and then they published the photo and said, guy on the right, unidentified, on one of the
my gosh.
I don't know who this guy is. I was like, oh God. I even wore my suit, so.
So of these, this is my favorite. It's like a neutral necromancer city. And they have rules on how they deal with the dead, and how, and just
that's the one. And it tried to do a new approach to that. It's like,
check the artwork out too.
Death is just once you're dead, that's it. I mean, you're just organic material. So why not use it? So if you live there or visit there, you have to sign an agreement saying my remains can be used by the rulers of this city. And it had lots of really interesting aspects to it, because I think that was the first one when I was reading it, because this is when I was doing IT for the local school district, and I remember reading that on my lunch hour, printing it out and reading it on my lunch hour and going, wow, this is really innovative. This is really something different.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like the idea of a good necromancer. I mean, why not?
There is plenty for you to, which I've done, pull out of this spells, abilities, subclasses, and pull into your Greyhawk setting wherever you're using. So just note, I recommend it. Take a look if you can get a hold of one.
The whole series was D20 third edition.
Yes,
I think we switched over to 3.5 when that happened. But I mean, it was 3 or 3.5 can be easily transferred to other editions.
It looks like this says 2001. I don't know if it was that early, but it says 2001 White Wolf Publishing. I'm not sure if that's the license was 2001, but this is pretty early.
It's 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very early in the 3E.
That was one of the first ones I worked on. Yep.
Yeah. Really cool.
Yeah. Well, they got out. They rushed out the first monster book. They got their monster book out before WotC.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. That is yeah. Jeez.
Creature collection, I think. Yeah.
And then they had all the the creature collection. That's downstairs too. I have them all. So let's go here. All right. Oh, these are heavy.
Hang on a second. I have a.
What do you got, Anna? You got a creature collection?
I have a creature collection.
There you go. Yes.
The very first one. Yes.
Yeah, I had that. I had a bunch of the other ones too, but that one was handy.
Yeah, I did not work on that one, but I worked on 2, and I think.
Okay, yeah, I think maybe I have
the mega book, the mega book. It was like like 2 Horrors, Tome of Horrors.
Tome of Horrors, yeah,
it's huge.
Yeah, and Frog God is still producing those.
Yeah,
so yeah.
So I have these. I mean, this book in itself is awesome. Bard's Gate.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, I think I have that one somewhere.
Yeah, that one you worked on. This one is one of my favorites of all time, the Tome of Artifacts.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Me and Ari Marmel and
I can bring that one up.
Did you do relics and rituals too?
The relics and rituals, I think 2. I think I wrote.
Okay.
I
have 1 and 2.
One you're a contributing writer, and 2, I think you are a publisher.
I think I was the developer.
Yeah, developer. Yeah. So 1 and 2, absolutely. But here, let me bring up.
One of the ones I worked on got the Annie that year. I thought
they were really.
They're awesome. I love that. I love the work in here. I have this one, and I brought it up. I'll bring it up in PDF.
That's a good one. I still got it up on my shelf.
The D20. That was I think one of the golden ages of D&D role playing games.
When everything broke loose with the D20 license.
Exactly.
That was. I mean, and
great books.
I think some people don't realize how beneficial that was to the hobby and to the publisher.
Mm-hmm.
To the holder of the license, how beneficial that was.
The Coast realized it, so they wanted to rein it in and
and
bring it back in the box again. But
the thing is that and this is a completely discussion for another day. Yeah. But the plethora of third-party stuff drives people to purchase WotC material.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's good for them.
Exactly. The network grew and it was fantastic.
So it doesn't.
No, they listened to all of us eventually. So now we got it. So it took a little while, but we won in the end. So that was awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
So let's see. If you remember any of these, you have Masks of the Gods, Celestial Machine is another one of yours.
Yeah.
Eldra's Panoply, and then also in the Appendix A, the Chosen One.
Yeah. Oh yeah. the Chosen One's is kind of this character class. So if you want someone to be,
let's go take a look.
If you want one of your party to be the chosen savior, the one of whom the prophecy speaks, who is going to destroy evil, then you use that character class. Now, I don't know whether that's a good idea or not. I don't know whether you would really. You'd have to be very careful as to who you let take that class. Let's put it that way. And I think that's an ideal class for the game master's girlfriend.
Okay, well that's an awesome analogy.
That's awesome. That's the game master's.
Yeah, it looks like
the one they can die and
that's the one that the game master lets their sweetie play.
Yeah. Preferential treatment.
Sounds like these powers are pretty nasty in the end up here. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. My guess is that guy's that particular one is a little OP.
Yeah, but they
make an interesting. It would make an interesting thing, but that would be. It seems to me that the Chosen One would be kind of the center of the party and would be the one that drives the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So, or it could be a really obnoxious DMPC character.
Yeah, absolutely.
It could be the most obnoxious DM self-insert character in history. I'm the Chosen One.
Yeah. So, were you watching that Eddie Murphy movie anytime near that when you wrote this? With the kid,
the Golden Child.
Yeah, the Golden Child.
Golden Child. Yeah. Chosen One. Who's the Chosen One?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there was some inspiration there. Yeah.
That's good though. You got to take it from what's going on in the world now. So absolutely. All right, let's see if we can find one of your artifacts in here too, because some of these are really good. Let's see which one we want to.
This is like tugging at the heartstrings.
Yeah, it is. How about this one? Shagar's Bones. How about this one?
Let's take a look.
Shagar's Bones.
I'm game. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Some wonderful stuff. Really love it. All right, here we go. The Tale of Shagar's Bones. The Archfiend Shagar was defeated by and slain in the material plane over 2 millennia ago. So more than Vecna. So screw you, Vecna.
Mm-hmm.
Some claim the moral hero struck the demon lord down while they say the fiend was so powerful that the gods themselves were forced to intervene. So there are bones of Shagar here.
Yep.
There's some really powerful.
That's artifacts. It's a tome of artifacts. I mean, you're going to base whole campaigns around these.
Yes. Yeah.
Or if you're insane, you would give everyone in the party an artifact. That would be. But yeah.
So here's some of the bones have turned into magic items. So like a bone mace in the haste of an ordinary wielder, it's +3 heavy mace of shock if wielded by an individual with evil alignment, +4 heavy mace of shocking burst. So there you go. So it appears that the bones a lot of them are turned into weapons and items.
Yeah, they're turned into weapons or armor and stuff like that. And if you get all of them, you're a real badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would almost be something I'd give to a bad guy.
Yeah.
That would be something something like that. I would maybe have the party trying to keep the bad guy from getting them all. Because boy, yeah, but they're all like that, and
there was power creep in 3rd edition, man. especially with the Living Greyhawk, you had to keep up.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, Ree and Ari and the other people that were in that book, they came up with some really good stuff. It's a really nice looking book. You know, Frog God was you know, they make or Sword and Sorcery rather. They produce some really, you know, just some really fine.
How did it work between Sword and Sorcery and Necromancer Games? Did they interact, or were they two separate companies?
They were close.
Okay.
They had I don't know if they had a formal licensing agreement, but I think they had a gentleman's agreement. It was kind of like you know, it can be labeled Necromancer, and it can also be, it can have both labels, it can have both trademarks on it. And there was a lot of cross pollination, because that's how I got involved working with Necromancer and later Frog God, was because some of the products were Sword and Sorcery / Necromancer.
Right.
So,
right.
You know,
yeah.
And yeah, so that's kind of what led to my involvement with Frog God.
A lot of that era, me still playing 1E, 2E, and then using some feats and stuff. I stayed away from most of the Greyhawk stuff that was being published, and I was on. That's why I have all this. This is the stuff I utilized and pulled back into my Greyhawk campaign because it was just so well written. And like Necromancers, it was first edition look, third edition look, first edition feel was their logo. So yeah.
And
really cool stuff.
Kind of trying to do that. We're still trying to kind of keep it as a sort of old school, but using the more modern, you know, more modern rules. As I said, I enjoy, you know, for nostalgic purposes, going back and playing with the old rules, but I do, in the end, I think I prefer the more modern incarnations. I think that they make more sense and they're more consistent. But you know, that's just my humble opinion.
All right, so now. You did do some third edition work. I believe it's third for Green Ronin.
Yes.
I found this one, Buccaneers of Freeport.
Oh yeah.
Because Freeport, we had Chris on and talk about the Freeport setting, and wow.
Yeah. That was fun. I like that. One of the other authors is, you know, I had the two. I had two of the female Buccaneers, and he was wondering how I rated that I got to write about the female ones, and he didn't, but you know.
So was it a couple publications you did for them, or was it
let's see, Green Ronin, okay, I can talk about that. Green Ronin, I think that may be the only one I did for third edition or 3.5. I did work on I'm currently, it's still being worked on, but there's they're working on a planetary romance rule set.
Oh wow.
That I contributed to, and that got it got put on hiatus during the Great Plague.
Oh, geez.
And that is back on the schedule, so we should be seeing that again one of these days.
I think Chris mentioned that to us, Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, it was more of a social interactive RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I think so. It has a fairly simple rule set, and it's geared toward, you know, John Carter of Mars kind of planetary adventure, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really enjoyed working with them on that. So yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of different takes, and that's one of the beauties of the business now, or the hobby, is that there's so many different flavors that goes in whatever direction and emphasis. Meaning, some people are deep lore setting or theme, some want a lot of crunch and they want to run it by spreadsheet, so to speak, and they want a lot of cool pluses and math and stuff in it.
I'm a storyteller. You know,
awesome.
I don't necessarily like everything being completely rules light. I mean, like the really basic stuff. I enjoy that, but it's not my preferred. I like.
But now you have the whole range from super rules light to extremely heavy and everything in between.
Into light crunch, I think, is my is my feeling about that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple questions from the audience, and I hate that I'm gonna throw this one out there. If you know Gary Julian himself asked this one, who wrote the Living Grail Gazetteer, right? Third edition. So Gary's on Pluffett's Measure. Who made the decision to have Robillard go off with Rary, become a bad guy, ride his stone horse? Was yes.
That was made by that was made by the powers that be at TSR when they gave me the assignment. Mm-hmm. They said that Rary and Robillard are both in it together, and I went with the flow. So fortunately, I cannot take the blame for that.
Okay.
That was part of that was part of the original proposal when they told me about Rary the Traitor. I thought they were making some pretty major changes in people's personalities for that. But hey, I'm the hired gun, and I'm not going to turn down paying work. So
understandable.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. It was fun to do, but yes. So I'm sorry to say, I will dump that on the editorial staff at TSR.
So it could have been Sarge, it could have been Zeb, it could have been one of those. So.
I think it was one of those. I don't remember exactly.
It's all good. Because I'll say this: we've live from Sardinia or Corsica, wherever he is. We've had Rob Kuntz on 3 times.
Corsica,
And this drives him more crazy than anything, which is funny in a way, because he's like, he never had a stone horse. So, but because it was his character.
Yeah,
so we get all that, but it's okay.
But he wasn't the best of characters to begin with, so we have
right.
Pryor. So I think it fits really well with the theme of Lord Robillard. I must say, from his early exploits and stuff.
That question.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. Yeah,
good question.
Any other questions? We're up through the 3rd edition era, so we've talked about everything that we can through 3E. I think did I miss anything? Anthony, that you think of all the way through the 3rd edition era? I thought I got most of them.
I did some miscellaneous stuff. I did some stuff for Goodman and a couple of other individual contracts with people. No, I think you hit the high points. I think the 3rd era was the sword and sorcery era for me. I think that was the main thing. And my involvement, I actually did a couple of did I do one? I think I did. I think I worked on 2 products for WotC. There was it was the book of I don't remember the name of it, but it was like it was a book of campaign level foes.
Oh, great. Cool.
And I did a couple. I did kind of the great Leviathan monster that was going to sink the world, and I did one other. And I did for a Drow book. I worked on one of I did the stats for one of the Drow cities. So yeah, I did not do a lot of stuff for WotC, but I did work for them a little bit during the 3rd era.
Out of all the stuff we just talked about, do you have a favorite? That's a question from the audience.
A favorite of everything?
Of all that we've talked about up to through 3rd edition, like something that you're like, wow, I really love doing that.
I think
Hallowfest.
Probably. I have several. Okay. Most recently, my favorite was that Beware the Yule Cat from last year's Christmas thing, which you can still get from Frog God. I was very, very happy with that. But I think from the TSR era or
whenever it's okay. It's like
I think the Marco Volo trilogy.
Okay.
Was just a huge amount of fun, and it was funny, and it was I got to have one of the characters channel John Cleese. That was great.
Oh, nice.
And and I stole a scene from Time Bandits.
Awesome.
Stuff like that for that, and from the Sword and Sorcery era, there were so many that were just a lot of fun. I think I'm proudest of the ones that actually, the ones that I developed, not wrote, that got recognition, like the Relics and Rituals.
Yeah.
And the villains one, I'm not as happy with, because that had some stat mistakes in it, which I'm not happy with. But there was, the Divine and the Defeated was the Gods book.
You're right.
I was really happy with that one.
That's what I missed. I had that downstairs. Sorry about that.
That was a good one. And many of those, I think mostly I was just proud of being the guy who kind of helped develop it and bring it to people's attention. And I wrote some of it, and but I think mostly just me looking at it going, oh yeah, I was part of that. I was working with some really talented people, and the fact that I helped them make their careers in the industry, I think that was great.
That's awesome.
But I think of all my favorite stuff, it was probably either Marco Volo or the Lankmar City of Adventure. I think those are the would be overall.
I have to ask about Italian Bandits. Is it the hallway scene when they're in the long? I knew it. The long ever-going hallway, and they're trying to get
what you have stolen.
Yes,
that's in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Which book? Do you know which one that's in? Is it in the first, second?
That's in the first one, I believe.
Okay, all right.
I think that's in Departure.
Excellent. Got a couple other questions here. City of Shadow for the Midnight setting for 3.5.
Yeah.
What? Who?
That was who's the Midnight setting? Who did that one?
Les, who did it? that one's got by me. I didn't. Les knows everything.
That was that was a great setting, and I'll tell you what. If you haven't seen it, I would track down some. It was Fantasy Flight. Okay.
Fantasy Flight games.
Fantasy Flight. Yeah. I would track down some copies of it if I could, because that setting is basically the world if the Dark Lord won.
Oh.
It's the world if Sauron had gotten the ring, essentially. So it's dark, it's desperate, and you're probably going to lose.
Wow.
The City of Shadows was the big bad's capital. That was the where his the center of his power. And I designed kind of the big dark tower that he lives in. And I put the barracks on like the second or third floor of the tower, which I think was a mistake. I think the barracks would have been better on the ground floor. But that was fun. It was the only one I did. The setting, I know it got some acclaim, but I don't know I don't know how long it lasted, but it was a terrific idea. And I love that. I love that concept. And it was fun to work with them. So yeah, that was one of those sort of one-off ones that I worked on, like for when I was like doing stuff for Goodman Games and stuff.
Excellent. So let's see here. A couple other questions we got as we had a rating from Blue Box. It's good to see you all. Hope you had a great stream. I know Alex just had two here, and I can't even find them. I'm just like all over the place. There's so much. Sam asked a question about Sulm, and I said you left it nebulous intentionally. We already discussed that in the Rally the Trader. Right. Yeah. And it was in the past.
I didn't want to give all the answers, because I know game masters kind of like to come up with their own lore and stuff. And if I gave them answers, they just ignore it anyway. So
True. Inspiration of what authors inspire you? 1 and 2. Is there someone you'd love to co-create with, a writer or artist now?
Yeah. It goes, I mean, I'm gonna, the traditional ones like Tolkien and Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft. I mean, those are obviously big influences. But Michael Moorcock, the Eternal Champion series, Stephen Brust, his God, I don't even remember the guy's name, but I mean the Stephen Brust sort of, they're sort of swashbuckling swords and sorcery stories, and some of the and then we got our own local hero Ursula Le Guin. I love her work. CJ Cherry. Those are all really great, and I gotta say, lately I've been getting some inspiration from Joe Abercrombie, and I've been really enjoying his books. So, and then comics, I really enjoy. Like I drew a lot of stuff from like comics and stuff like that, like the Savage Sword of Conan, and there was a very short-lived series called Claw from DC, which really inspired me. And then like heavy metal and that kind of thing. That's all very much.
Nice.
God, I would love to work with. I was surprised to see China Melville did a chapter from a Pathfinder, for a Pathfinder book, and China Melville's stuff is just amazing, and I'd love to work with him, and I really enjoy his work. And oh yeah, of course, Neil Gaiman and Clive Barker, those guys. But yeah, Neil Gaiman would be awesome to collaborate with. I've already, I've worked with some of the, some people in the industry that I've really admired a lot, because the current thing I'm working on that I wanted to talk about for the Sandy Peterson thing, it's kind of nice to be working with the guy who wrote Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah. So
let's get through the Frog God era here, right? Because we got Michael here, but I think I found this one. You did, right? Adventures in Borderland Province.
Yeah. Yes. I did one of those. Yeah, I did one of the adventures. Yeah, it was called In a Lonely Place, which was kind of that was a horror one. I tried to do, creatures creeping up on you in the dark and dragging you underground and stuff like that. So I like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So Les says, tell Anthony Claw the Conqueror is freaking awesome sword and sorcery comics.
Yes, so I loved it. I was afraid I was the only fan, but other people really liked it. So yeah, that was a surprisingly big influence on me. Yeah.
Excellent. So you did the other adventure, Michael. If I missed some, I'm assuming you've been doing a lot of work. You're doing some development for them. Did you do Grand Duchy of Rheims? I saw a little bit of that too.
I did some writing on that one. Yeah, I did some history.
Yeah, that's the one Mont sent Michelle on the cover, right? It looks just like
it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I did some fluff for that. Well, those are mostly fluff, and I prefer fluff to rules myself. But also, as far as Frog God, I've been doing project management. I've been managing a couple of like Kickstarters. I managed and I was the product. I was the lead developer for the one that just came out called what's it called? Heart of St. Bathos.
Okay.
The Heart of St. Bathos, which is a cool little hardcover underground adventure. I've done, and I've got a couple of proposals with them now, and I enjoy working with them. They're a good group of people, and so I've enjoyed the process, the creative process, and learning about crowdfunding, which is a completely new thing for me. So yeah.
Yeah. And let's give credit to Michael for making this connection between you and me as well. So
which was great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
for having this wonderful discussion. So we get to present day.
Yeah.
And so what do you got? I know you got some stuff you want to talk about. So
I got some stuff. Yeah. Well, like I said, I've got a couple of I've got a couple of proposals that I'm working on. I'm working on an OSC product. And the big thing that I found out was that a product that it was on hiatus for a long time, but for Sandy Peterson Games is an honest to God Call of Cthulhu adventure, which I'm doing with Mark Hart, my fellow writer. And that is going to be published by Peterson Games, but it's going to be an official Call of Cthulhu product. It's going to have the logo on it and everything. And I'm just doing, because it was, like I said, it was on hiatus for a long time, and I just found out last week that they're going to go ahead with it. And I asked, and they said, no, go ahead, promote the hell out of it. So I'm going to promote the hell out of it. And I'm doing some editing and some rewriting based on some play testing. But it is a modern day Call of Cthulhu set in the Seattle, Bainbridge Island, and Tri-City areas in Washington. And I guess the main thing to say is it is the first, after all these years, at least this is what Sandy tells me. If I'm wrong, forgive me. But he says this is the very first officially licensed Call of Cthulhu product in which Cthulhu actually appears.
Really?
After, what, 40 years?
Wow.
None of the official products have ever actually had Cthulhu in them. And this one has Cthulhu, or a reasonable facsimile. So, you'd have to buy it to find out. But it is, it involves
someone just said chat sold.
Modern day stuff, drug distribution and mysterious cults and helicopter chases and rocket launchers and fun stuff like that. So I was very, very happy to hear that, because I wasn't sure what its status was, because it had been kind of on hiatus for a while, but they're going ahead with it. And I urge everyone to go check it out, because Sandy Peterson does they do some really beautiful products, and the art is really spectacular. And I'm hoping this is the first of several collaborations with them.
What is the rough date? Is it the end of the year, or is it?
Okay. I'm going to have my edit done by the 10th of March.
Okay. That's not far
Sounds
off.
to me like, I think, I haven't got a date from them yet, but I think that sounds like summer.
Okay. Wow. That's not that far off.
Summer or early fall, I think. That's a rough guess on my part, knowing what I know about the production schedule.
So he has his own third-party company that writes for Chaosium. Is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah, he works with Chaosium. Yeah, he was the and again, I don't have the particulars, so I'm not speaking from a position of intimate knowledge here. But he was the creator of the game, and then he spun off into his own publication company. Then he's been doing. He did a whole book of 5th edition and Pathfinder Cthulhu stuff, mythos stuff.
Wow.
And then he's working with them now to do his own stuff. And I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking we may focus on more modern era Call of Cthulhu stuff.
So it sounds like he owns the rights still, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He licenses Chaosium to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what the intimate details are, so I don't want to misstate this, but yeah, they're on a perfectly good basis, and they're working together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anna, what questions do you have? You've been quiet for a bit.
No, I just enjoying this, and it's so much cool stuff that I've only glimpsed at or heard a little bit of, and so yeah, it's so cool, and it's I'm just hats off to you being active for so many years. There are few content creators or people worked professionally for, what is it, like over 30 years? 40?
Well, I have an artist friend who she says it's not that I want to make art, it's that I have to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this thing that I just feel like I would be, I don't think I'd be very happy if I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's nice. And
the same thing with me doing my maps and stuff that I do. I just love doing it.
It's about that. I mean, really, a lot of it has to do with how much I really feel like I'm trying to do a service for people, and I'm trying to do things that people like.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep my ego out of it as much as I possibly can.
Oh, it's awesome.
Stay humble and just do what I like. And that's what I want to do. And I love talking to people about this.
Yeah.
We got an audience question about has the pay been sufficient throughout the years? And you said at WotC, at TSR, it was good, but
it was good. I did briefly try to do it exclusively. I did try to make a living at it, and I kind of failed miserably. And I was married at the time, and we ended up being pretty much exclusively dependent on my spouse's income. So I don't. It is a great side gig.
Yeah.
It is a really good side gig. It brings in money. I mean, I worked on the Gods book, the Pantheon book for Frog God, and the manuscript ended up being 200,000 words. And they're breaking it up into individual Pantheon booklets instead of one big fat hardcover, which I think is a good idea. That helped me buy a trailer, So it depends. It is also feast or famine.
Yeah.
I have not encountered much in the way of flakiness. Almost everybody has been good about paying on time and by contract. I think it is adequate. And I am retired. I worked for 20 years at the school district here. And so I've got my retirement income. But in addition to that, that provides a nice supplement. So I guess that's it.
Awesome.
Some people pay, they pay different amounts. It depends these days. But yeah, so I would say adequate.
So any other questions from the audience? If not, I want to ask what are your aspirations for the next 5 years? Man, I just want to keep on writing when the opportunities come up, or is there something you got your target on?
I want to keep on writing, and I would love to see more material grow out of this OSE book that I'm working on, the Sword and Sorcery OSE book, because we're talking about doing we've got some interesting things that they're talking about doing at Frog God that would sort of spin off from this, and that would be related to our relationship with the OSE publishers, with Necromantic Gnome, I think. And that is a terrific set of OSR rules. I like them. They're beautifully laid out. I like the company's sort of attitude and their outlook on the hobby, and I really enjoy that. I would love to see. I would love to work more with Peterson and actually get more deeply involved with Call of Cthulhu, because I've always loved it. And I want to keep pursuing my own writing, my own fiction, but I've sort of had a little bit of a writer's block since I retired. So that's I'm kind of frustrated with that, but I'm working on it. I have three novels published, but nobody read them. So, but that's all right. These things happen, but I want to keep doing that too. So, I mean, I just want to continue forward with the creative, on the creative side. And I would, I just love to keep doing this and keep working with people and meeting the people and meeting new colleagues and new players, and watch new people discover the hobby and see all the wonderful things that it does. After all the crap we had to put up with back in the 80s, I want to see all the good things that this hobby does for people. And that's and get new people involved, and get different people involved, and just show that this is something for everyone. This isn't just for a certain select group of people. This is something that everyone can enjoy and everybody can love. And it's a nice antidote to dark times sometimes. So yeah, I'd like to continue to be part of that. David Gerald, who wrote Trouble with Tribbles, talked about going to a science fiction convention right after Trouble with Tribbles came out, and he was mobbed by people, and they wanted him this autograph and all that stuff. And he said, he'd always thought that science fiction had a special magic, and he said that day he realized that he was part of that special magic. And I just want to keep being part of that special magic for people.
You can affect people in such a positive way just by some minute things you do, right? Absolutely. And that's it. Writing the right Cthulhu. You're part of one that Cthulhu is actually going to be seen. Just think about that. I mean, that's kind of momentous,
Well,
after
that's
all this.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to people, and I want to, I want to do stuff like this. And you guys
Okay.
are doing such a great job
Thanks.
of spreading the word and talking to all the people involved, because it's not just me. There's thousands of people involved in this, and they're all really, there's a lot of talented people and a lot of really amazing people. So and the more of that, just keep up the good work.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you for
Of
this.
course, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, a question came up. I think real quick on it. The answer is no. You didn't ever write for Dungeon or Dragon magazine, correct?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah. There you
No.
go. I saw that one earlier. And collaborated with Ed a little bit. We talked about that. And so, no Dragonlance, right? You never did anything?
No, I was never involved in that. No.
Okay, nothing in Dragonlance.
No.
But I'd love to see, the one thing I'd love to see is what you did in the Birthright. That's one thing we didn't touch on, because you're right on the end of that. Was that?
I worked for I did some work for a European outfit that did their own sort of version of it. I think it was called what was it called? Seeds of War or something like that. And they published that in Europe. And
okay.
And I know they did sort of their own take on it. And oh shoot, and I wrote for it, and I'm trying to remember the name of the setting. I think it was called Seeds of War.
Interesting.
I
think I have that sitting here somewhere. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, Anna has a pretty big. She was probably she was there at the time.
That was kind of an attempt to duplicate the Birthright setting to an extent.
It rings a bell. I'm not sure, but it rings a bell. Let me see if I can find something here.
Yeah. And they did a Kickstarter for a second volume of that recently. I'm not sure how that went, but yeah, I kind of.
No, I can't find it, but I think I've seen it somewhere, but I don't think I have it.
And that came out. I'm not sure what its status is at this point, but but yes, I think somebody did a Kingdom Management book a few years ago too, and I don't remember that one, but it's a great idea. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
That is excellent. So, anything else you'd like to discuss or mention? Or this has been a great discussion.
Yeah.
Anna and I usually go off on a diatribe of shout outs now about what's going on in the community. That's all the other fun stuff and the giveaways and all the other fun things. So we'd love for you to hang a bit if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll hang a bit. Yeah, sure.
All right, cool.
Awesome. I think this is great. Thank you for having me on, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, so conventions. Are you doing any?
Yeah. Are you
this year?
Chance of
I don't have any planned at this point. So it depends. I think Frog Gods asked me along to a couple, like I don't remember.
Right, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any. I'm not aware of any that I'm doing. I should probably get back into that. This whole, and this is a little personal thing. COVID caused all sorts of disconnections.
That was
in my
tough
life.
for all of us. Yeah.
Some personal and some professional. And so I actually, I'm still coming back from that, even, just, a couple of years later. So it's still taking a while to get back in the swing of things. So, yeah.
Interesting. Well, it's been a crazy ride for the community with all this, and from COVID, we created our own virtual GradCon, which is still going. We'll have our fifth annual one in October. From that, but so there's a lot of but the cons are back in the swing, and with Gary Con's the big one this year, the 50th. But I can't equate anything I've ever done at a con that had a fight club, like you said. It just boggles my mind. It was like you guys were doing that.
There was insanity. I mean, that just, hanging out with these guys, it was crazy. And I mean, I can't. Nah,
I know you got like, I better not talk about that story.
I better not talk about that one. But yeah, gosh. I mean, White Wolf were nuts. They were crazy. I can tell you about when we were in Indianapolis, and they had a party every year, and they would like rent out like the local go-go club or the goth club or something like that. in this case, this was really funny. They couldn't get anything like that because there was like a big game, I think, between the Colts and the Kansas City Chiefs or something that weekend. It was like a preseason game. And so everything was booked up. And so they managed to get part of a sports bar. Okay. So it's like sports fans over here and the White Wolf crowd over here.
Oh boy.
Right. And I was hanging out with one of the guys from X-Files, one of the lone gunman actors, and he was cool. We were hanging out, and I was noticing that the guys from the bar were coming around and wanting to take pictures of all the women, all the female attendees who were, White Wolf staff or White Wolf associates, and they wanted to take these pictures because everybody was all gothed out, right? And we suddenly realized that they were taking pictures of these people and then putting them on their website saying, these are the kind of women that show up at our bar.
Oh, my gosh.
They were refusing. As this one gal said, oh, yeah, sure, take my picture. Here, take my picture with my boyfriend. And they said, no, just you. And she said, no, you can't use my image for that. So that was just so funny that was the, and I was very proud. I was very proud of White Wolf that evening because we did not go along with their bullshit. So that was,
it's insane. I mean, I can't even imagine. But then again, I think we're gonna have some debaucherous things going on. We have so many, Anthony, so many people from the Grail community, this community going to GaryCon this year. I think the total is, I estimated it was 60. Yeah, it's a lot of people. We're gonna take that place.
Yeah, I got to get back into this. Yeah, I got to get back. I did have such a good time.
We would love to have you back.
You more than qualify as a VIP guest almost at any con with
exactly. Yeah. So reach out and you will be back in the con circus again here.
Yeah, Michael.
Okay, I want you to pay my airfare and my hotel and all my money.
That could probably, some cons will probably arrange that. So yeah.
Anna's got a deal for Paige. She's going all the way to Philly next year, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to GaryCon in 3 weeks. So yeah.
A comp membership is more than enough. So that's fine. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yes.
That's cool. But I think it'd be a charm to have it at those events.
I would have a lot of fun.
Yeah. So we got to get that worked out. Definitely.
Yes.
Greyhawk Fight Club? No, there are no Greyhawk Fight Clubs at GaryCon.
We could do a tabletop fight.
Yeah, I'm too old for that shit.
We could see if Robolar could beat, Tensor or something.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. So yes, all right. So Anna, we got anything going on? Remember everyone, I got to go to Vegas starting tomorrow for 4 days for work for a convention.
So I will try and fill the shoes a bit. So I will stream on Wednesday and Thursday and Friday this week. So
you're gonna fill the holes
coming up. Yeah,
I'll
fill the holes and we'll see. Linda might not make it all of them, but she will hopefully make some of them. Otherwise, I'll sit and do it myself. And there might be some sneak peeks coming in there because I just posted on my Patreon blog. I'll post the link here. This is for Patreons only. Up until GaryCon. So it's a sneak peek on the city of Quitwall. And I had a first version of the map. This is way more coming. This is just a couple of sneak peeks on isometric renders and stuff like that.
Cool.
And there will be more sneak peeks coming out lately because I had the goal was to map 100,000 square miles by GaryCon, and I'm not far from it, so to speak. And there will be not all. I can't show all the details, meaning we're talking millions and millions and millions of pixels. But there will be a lot of cool,
crazy stuff, Anthony.
I love maps. I've got all the software. I got so much mapping software. It's just great.
Yep. Yeah. So this is a real 3D virtual terrain at 5 feet per pixel, and I'm visualizing a game world, so to speak. So you can do it, and cities and stuff. So and remember when you see the Critwall map, that's not a pretty picture of a city. The whole country is mapped at that resolution. So it's not just like a pretty pity. So there will be some we're talking terabytes of stuff here.
Yeah.
But a lot of the end result is not that enormous in size. But during development, I have 80 terabytes of hard drive on my main computer that I'm storing the stuff that I've been And actually, when I rendered one area, I did a test render of an area. I took 32K area, and that needed 1.8 terabyte of RAM just to render it. And my computer chugged through it in 4 hours, and damn, it looks cool. So it's coming out a lot of results. And this is kind of a first, I'm putting through the full workload, so to speak. And what I thought would take 20 years will not take that long. And so big plans, and I will show the whole workflow step by step at a seminar on GaryCon and at GaryCon, and the to show what potentially can be done and how it can be done. And it will not be that instead of, I was thinking that I have to kind of first make like an overview render and then a detail. No, I'm going to cut straight into it and then only put in roads and buildings and stuff where it's interesting. But I'm going to do the whole damn terrain while I'm at it, because it doesn't take that much longer. And so thanks to modern technology and some really brutal computing, and now I have 2 monsters going here, so I can actually crank out stuff. And they've been going for 2 weeks, and now I have done that. Yeah, the results, they even blew me away when I started seeing this. And I'm jaded. I've been staring at this for 10 years, and now it's coming out, and you can see like landscape renders of cities, and you can see lots of cool stuff. And there will be and there will be a lot of building maps and stuff too, because I wanted to show what the commander of the Knights of the Holy Shielding, that building, it's 7 floors from the top to bottom with dungeons included. I mapped that out, and I mapped out a bunch of other stuff in Quitwall as well. There's a couple of that. Almost every city or every street in the whole city is named on that map. So that was my foray into it's my test case for making a city map and for making a Greyhawk city map.
I'm going to show a map of a couple of maps of yours very shortly too.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah. So that is coming, and there will be more heraldry, there will be more rules, and there will be. Now I'm going to spend about a week or so digging into Earth and the really big picture, and see what I can come out with there too, because I want to do some updates on that too. So that might be part of the streaming stuff. And so it's coming along. I'm really trying hard to get as many sneak peeks and previews in before so I have as much as possible to show. But I've been kind of neglecting everybody. I haven't shown anything, but just take a sneak peek over there. It looks good. I'm proud of this. Yeah,
that's awesome. Thanks, Anna. I want everyone to guess what this is a pic of. Okay. This all this palette of stuff.
Oh, is that what you're sending to GaryCon?
No, well, you're close. You're close.
Okay.
You're close. That is a pic of all the terrain I'm going to be using at Founders and Legends and GaryCon that Gamescape 3D is bringing for me terrain-wise.
Cool.
Yes. Yep. That is the terrain that Jeremy's bringing for his. He's going to have a what do you call it? He has a seminar, but it's marked for what game it is. Yeah. So yes. So this is the level of craziness I'm going to at GaryCon. And to say in conjunction with that, thank you. Everything I have except for the Greyhawk seminar that is sold out. Every single game, and I have about 60 people on the wait list for all of our stuff, which is humbling.
I can mention my seminar actually has like 20 tickets or 15 or 18. There's some tickets left for my seminar. I'm going to post the link to that seminar.
Please do.
Chat. Yeah.
This isn't up to date because Legends and Lore with Greyhawk, Mike, Anna, and me, I think there 20 tickets have been sold, so it's less than this now. But everything else, the Ed Greenwood, Anna, and me seminar is sold out completely. That one's completely sold out on Friday. So, and there's also tickets for Jeremy's one on 3D printing. So there you go. Thank you. That is completely humbling. Just wanted to say that. Now, yes, you're in, Jeff. You're in.
We're very humbled, and looking forward to it. So, yep.
Okay, sneak peek. Here's the Free City of Altamira cover for that's going to GaryCon, and here's some of Anna's maps for it in high level detail of Altamira from above you.
And we have to say that is very early version.
Very early. It's a lot of the Eternal City work is
to finished. That's early.
Yeah, and the level of this is that crazy level resolution, Anthony.
To show you, it will look way more pretty. But thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
when it's done. So yeah.
And I'll show it. Why not? I'm not going to get in any trouble because it's mine. So here's the Free City of Altamira, the sneak peek, the 20-page sneak peek book that's going to be put in the swag bags at GaryCon. There's another view from the lake, from the Crystal Lake down on the city. Yeah. So and this is the one, Anthony, that I placed in Greyhawk near the County of York. The Principality of York border that it's now been transposed out, stripped of, because it's all my own doing and putting aired. So
Okay. Thank you, Sudrak. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. And just look here, a kumquat grove, because kumquat trees.
Yeah.
So see, I got my own
they
jokes.
Look big. Now we need to make the kumquat trees on the map and the rain the big ones. So
absolutely. So and there you go. Just some great artwork and some great background, and my heraldry with the kumquat actually on the shield there. Got to have it. So great work. Yeah, the jousting field, all this.
I love that. Yeah.
It's wonderful. And great work by Troy Norker, Lee, and all the artists, Dan Smith, and I can't even say her other name. Who did? If you can pronounce it, someone in chat. It's great. But it's a sneak peek of the full box set that's going to be in Kickstarter through Troller Games coming up, and we're going to set a date. Definitely in a meeting on Friday. There you go. There's the order view look, and there's our picture of the city. So there you go. So you get the idea. I'm hoping to have many of these to give out to everyone. It'll also be available in PDF, but it's finally a reality. Just so you're all aware. Work. So Castle and Crates rules. Yeah, it has to be in CNC rules XT, but it's not a big deal, man. It's like it's old school rules,
Yeah.
Easy conversion. So. Thank you, John. Thank you so very much for saying you'll be back in at day one. I really appreciate that. All right. Let's do the giveaways. Got 2 of them. We're going to rain the Dawn and Creep Show after that and call it a night. And I'll see you all in a week. Hopefully nothing bad happens in Vegas, but you never know. Just kidding. All right.
What happens in Vegas?
Yes, what happens in Vegas and GaryCon stays there. Both.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes. So, it's going to be it's a Kickstarter XD. It's going to be a full, that'll be a date and all with all sorts of bump ups. Like Gamescape 3D is actually going to make Dunyalag Deep Home, the mountain itself in 3D print. There's going to be a lot of really cool things. So we're going to have some fun with it. All right, let's call exclamation point drawing. 2 winners tonight. Did I ever start it? Yeah, I did. It's not showing. It's not showing it as started. Give me 1 second here. I gotta bring this up. This stupid thing. Streamlabs. All right. Deep breaths. All right. I just want to make sure. I'm like, it's not going. The wonders of streaming here, Anthony. There's always challenges of one thing or another here. All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna close this out. Here we got 2 winners. First winner, Vamoku Michael Marsberger. Karatz, second winner. And then stick around. We're going to rate the Darling Creep Show. Look at that. We're right almost dead on at 9. Here we go. Second winner. Caesar. Again. Caesar won yesterday morning, too. Wow. It's rigged.
Yeah, the fix is in.
Clearly. So, what a great discussion, Anthony. Michael had a suggestion. We usually do some heraldry and with Anna on either here or Legends of Lore. We got to have you back for it and just talk about it. Show some of the heraldry you've created. That would be great. A specific heraldry discussion. Thank you for that, Michael. So, any final thoughts? Thank you for coming.
Just thanks a lot. I really enjoyed it.
I think everyone, I guarantee you 95%, with the exception of less, right, did not understand the depth of your journey in writing for RPGs.
Well,
I certainly didn't when I started. And I was amazed.
It's been a long, strange trip, and it continues. So they'll have to nail the coffin shut, I think, before I'm done. So.
That's great. That's fantastic to hear.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Keep creating.
That's all great. Thank you again. Thank you. Thanks thanks audience. Thanks Twitch people. I hope we can do this again.
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
keep,
we're looking
keep
forward
in
to
touch,
it.
and Michael and I both have contacts, and maybe we can get you to Page next year in Philly, outside of Philly. It's a really good convention.
I hope we can meet in person.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely. Thank you all. Look at that, 9 on the nose tonight. Look at that. We didn't run too late here, so I'm gonna hit. How many wrong buttons I hit tonight? I didn't hit too many. Boom. Yeah, the bribe works, Caesar. That's a funny joke. No bribes, none. All right, I'm sending. Yep, man. Have a good one. I'm gonna raid into Darling Creep Show, and Anthony, have a great night. Thank you so very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, bye. Let me see if I'm hitting the run button here.
Yep.
Sit tight, everyone.
Always doing the wrong button thing.
Yeah, always hitting the wrong button. Send the raid up. Now I gotta manually search through. I hate this new stream setup they got.
They kind of, they changed things.
They
We're
changed
too
it.
old
5. All right, let me start the raid. Oh, cool. You're right. She's doing work. Wow, that's cool. God, man, look at Kurt. It's super goth. Over 100. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone, have a good one. I'll see you in a week.
Good night.
I hate that I gotta go, but I gotta go for work. Let me shut down everything here.
Yep, it went over, popped over to Darling.
Good.
Yeah.
Rated in with 106.
Yep.
We're at 117 when we ended tonight there, Anthony. So just note it was a good show.
That's lovely.